You want to know how a simple blue gate turned into the wildest, most chaotic showdown this town's ever seen? Picture this. The day ended with a tractor smashing the HOA's pride and joy right in front of the whole neighborhood. The president screaming bloody murder. And my little ranch suddenly at the heart of a war I never asked for. And to think, all I wanted was to honor my wife with a coat of paint. Let's rewind. Name's Hank Rogers, just a regular guy with 5 acres and a stubborn streak a mile long, living out near Huntsville, Texas. After losing my wife, it was just me, my dog Duke, and whatever piece I could scrape together planting tomatoes, fixing fences, and waving at neighbors who mostly minded their own business. At least until Bonnie Halverton rolled in. Bonnie, our new HOA president, looked and talked like she'd been sent straight from some villain's finishing school. Voice sharp as a hacksaw, lipstick as red as a stop sign, and a taste for rules thicker than Texas mud. Now my gate, it was just a gate, used to be old, rusty, more brown than anything. One morning, after staring at that sad thing for months, I picked up a can of paint, thinking about the way the sky looks right before sundown. I picked blue, not because I wanted to ruffle feathers, but because it reminded me of my wife's favorite scarf, the one she wore the night I asked her to marry me. Sentimental, I know. But hell, when you get old, you get soft. A few days after, I found a letter in my mailbox, cold, clipped, and printed by a machine. Gate color violates Section 3.7.2. Approved colors are natural wood, black, or forest green. Immediate repainting required. I laughed, threw it out. See, my ranch has been here longer than any HOA. My land wasn't even part of their little suburb. They just didn't like seeing something different on the drive home. Bonnie came next, face tight with purpose, and a clipboard like a sword. "Your property now falls under our expanded boundaries," she said, waving some charter in my face. "That blue gate has to go." I told her flat out, "Ma'am, this ain't HOA land, and I'm not repainting." She smirked like she'd heard it all before. "You'll be fined daily. The rules apply to everyone." And walked off, already picturing my blue gate in the trash. I wish I could say, I let it go. Truth is, every envelope they shoved under my door, every final warning sticker slapped across my fence, just twisted the knife. I started polishing the blue, not covering it. Didn't matter. Next came the guy in the yellow vest with his tape measure, scribbling like the FBI. A drone buzzing overhead. Then a letter saying I owed $200 a day for non-compliance. Me, a guy fixing tractors and patching barns for gas money, suddenly getting hounded like a criminal. One day I found a neon orange sticker, subject to removal. That was it. I drove straight to the HOA office, found it locked tighter than a drum. Their hours were a joke, so I waited. Bonnie pulled up, barely looked at me. "Solve your gate or we will." The more she threatened, the more I dug in. Instead of repainting, I brightened it up. Sky blue with my wife's initials carved in. That was my middle finger, subtle as it was. Next morning, the neighborhood blew up. Duke barking, phone ringing, folks hollering. A tractor, bigger than mine, came roaring down the gravel, straight for the Harmony Acres HOA office. Bonnie was there, waving papers, screaming. Crash. Wood and glass everywhere. The building, their pride, flattened like a soda can. The driver? My old friend Caleb Myers, retired Army mechanic, quiet as a shadow. He climbed out, dusted himself off. "Thought I'd give them something to talk about," he said, eyes calm. Bonnie lost her mind, police everywhere, and Caleb just raised his hands and let them cuff him. Not a peep of protest. The weight of that hit me hard. Caleb and I go way back. El Paso, same unit. He's one of those men who never talks about feelings, just fixes things that are broken. Sometimes, people. Since my wife passed, he'd shown up with Stu, fixed my tractor, listened to me rant about Bonnie and her rule book. Never said much, just nodded, grunted. That blue gate ain't hurting anybody. Turns out he'd been listening closer than I thought. But the chaos wasn't over. A county zoning inspector showed up next day. Badge, mustache, the whole 9 yards. You know those fines don't mean squat, right? Your land's not even under their jurisdiction. They tried to file the paperwork, but it never went through. Just like that. Every letter, every threat, void. I about lost my mind laughing. But Bonnie didn't stop. Oh no, she came back swinging, digging trenches at my property line, planting signs, "Future Welcome Arch." She wanted to build right up to my fence, claim the land with a bit of paperwork and a bulldozer. So I called Travis, my lawyer, ex-rodeo clown, still wore snakeskin boots. He filed every cease and desist you could think of. We got the county records. Turns out, Harmony Acres ended exactly 47 feet before my line. Every inch of trench, every post, on my side. But Bonnie pushed on, building by force. That's when folks started showing up. Lacey from the South End. Her daughter's fined for a pink mailbox. The old vet, threatened for his wheelchair ramp. Even the kid with a garden gnome. Turns out I wasn't the only one with a target painted on my back. We banded together, dozens of us. The next morning, our field was packed. Lawn chairs, coffee, banners that said, "Let Hank keep his gate." Bonnie rolled up in a black SUV with 2 board members and a man in a suit. Tried to hand me more legalese. Travis stepped in with the real papers. Then the sheriff showed. Good man, Tate, tipped his hat. Told the workers to pack up. Crowd cheered. Bonnie's face, watching her empire crumble. I'll never forget it. We thought we'd won. But 3 days later, I woke to ashes. My blue gate, torched in the night. Burned to the ground, the message clear as day. I just stood there, Duke whimpering, Emily, Caleb's niece, crying beside me. We could have quit. We rebuilt instead. Everyone pitched in. New gate, thicker oak, brighter blue. Wild flowers and stars painted on the arch. Emily stitched a banner, Caleb's Gate. Even as we hammered the last nail, Bonnie came back, suit in tow, with a woman from the board filming everything. "Illegal construction," she barked. I just laughed. Try me. Her face, red as a barn. She spit on my boots and stormed off. But she was playing a bigger game. Travis dug up the truth. She wasn't just after my gate. The developers were circling, pushing for a retail plaza, trying to get my land condemned. All those fines, all those fights, part of a plan to drive me out and build their little shopping paradise. So we went to war. Town hall, hay bales for chairs, neighbors telling their stories. Everyone had a Bonnie horror story. Solar panels too futuristic, garden gnomes disruptive, flags removed, fences fined. The next showdown, Bonnie brought her army. 3 SUVs, private security, a green tractor, construction workers. But we were ready. Arms linked, a wall of neighbors, kids holding signs. Bonnie tried to bulldoze us, but the machine sputtered, sabotaged, sugar in the tank. She lost it. Then, from over the hill, came Caleb, just out on bail, driving his red tractor. No words, just action. He aimed straight for their half-built archway, plowed right through. Splinters everywhere. Bonnie fainted dead away, developers gaping like fish on a dock. I told the crowd, "This land is mine, always has been. If you want it, you're gonna have to take me with it." Cheers. The land auditor from the county stepped forward, said the filings were a mess. My claim was rock solid. Bonnie's final card was to drag me to court. Sued for defamation, damages, tried to pin the office destruction on me. But Caleb stood up in front of the judge, told the whole truth. He did it alone, couldn't watch her bleed us dry. Emily had footage from a wildlife cam, caught the real arsonist, Bonnie's own assistant. The judge tossed the case, banned the HOA from ever touching my land again, ordered an investigation into their fraud. The courtroom erupted. The last straw? The vote to dissolve the HOA. The crowd, no longer afraid, packed into the community hall. Board members resigned. Hands shot up. Yes, yes, yes. Bonnie tried to shout them down, but the game was over. She walked out with nothing. The HOA, gone for good. But this story, like all good ones, had one last twist. Digging up that arch trench, the county found an old safe, rusted, heavy as a truck, with a plaque from 1924. Inside, gold coins, original deeds, ledgers that proved my family's claim, heritage land, protected. Bonnie tried to charge in, was stopped by the sheriff himself. The county made my ranch a historical site, gave us a grant to build a local museum. Caleb in charge of restoration, Duke with his own bench under the tree. Now, at sunset, I sit by the gate, still blue, still strong, still mine. Folks stop by, share stories, paint their own dreams across the sky. The land stands, because its people did too. And if you ever wonder what keeps a community alive, remember this: you can't bulldoze the truth. And as for Bonnie, well, some folks say she's still trying to find the cacti in Arizona. But around here, we just smile and let the Blue Gate do the talking. So tell me, if someone tried to take your peace, would you stand your ground?